time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure, so let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Badass Slingshots,
and Mossy Oak.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Hey, welcome back to another Minicast here this week. Since we've been talking about fishing, Dan is full of questions.
You know, I am. I have been learning, and so we're going to take this first question into a mini-cast.
Yeah, you're full of something.
I am full of something, and I've got a question about the past week while up at fish camp. We were using Cincos, we were using wacky rigs. Why the color that you chose? Because I'm assuming there's multiple colors of...
You go into a bait store, or even...
I mean, there's like bags and bags.
It's like a rainbow of colors.
Yeah.
Of worms.
There's tons. There's a lot of different... I kind of go off water clarity. A lot of guys play more into it than I do. Mm-hmm. Dirty water, I'm throwing for baits. Clear water, I'm throwing lighter baits, which is why we were throwing the baby bass Cinco.
Okay.
There's a lot of baby bass. It's a forage, looks natural. The light.
And so this was about a 4-inch worm-looking rubber. And so besides color, how come we didn't use one like with a curly tail?
A wiggler?
A wiggler, or whatever you want to call it.
Because of the wacky rig, the way they work so well on it, the way they fall, and when you've seen it fall on it, the ends, the two tag ends, full.
Right. Yep.
It just looked natural. Everything about it.
Is there another way to? Okay, the wacky rig is basically it looks like a hook and it's got the weight on the end.
Yeah, you just hook it in the middle.
Could you do that with a regular jig, or wouldn't you get the proper float or presentation? I guess is.
I prefer the wacky rig hook because it's kind of designed.
Okay.
I mean, if you were in a pinch and needed to catch a fish.
Okay. So the hook that's the wacky rig, and then when we went can't speak. When we went weedless and we used the other type of hook that had the curve in it.
Yep.
What was the curve for?
The round bend. You guys were throwing around it. It's the hook's designed so you can rig baits without a weed. So you get that slender profile, not a lot sticking out, so you can the right grass.
We know about grass.
We all know about grass.
Go back to the episode where we were talking about the right grass.
Yes.
Yep. And there's wide gap hooks. That's more of an open water hook from the Carolina rigs. The round bend, I typically throw in heavier cover from bush or the grass because there's less coming out. You get snagged on. So there's tons of different hooks, tons of different ways you can implement.
So if I'm using Cincos in June, would I use Cincos in October? Yes?
Typically, I mean, it depends what the fish. In October, like if you're saying, Cody, you're coming up here October 14th, you're going swimming, I would have on more reaction baits, spinner baits, buzz baits, sammies, stuff like that pop up because they're feeding heavier that time of year, so they're more active, you can catch fish. I'm still going to have them rigged up because if it's slow.
Oh, okay. See, everything we want to know about a worm bait.
There you go.
Because because I'm like, you see these, you like you said, it's a rainbow of array of everything. Why this? Why that? I guess that's half the battle when you're doing this fishing thing.
Everyone has their own preferences. What works. I think a lot's mental. Since I've done so well on this color in the past in clear water, I mean, there's the generic, lighter colored baits for clear water.
So what color is technically what we were using?
Baby bass color.
Is the color?
It's colored to baby bass.
Color baby bass. All right.
There's June bug when the water's muddy.
My favorite is peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
They have a peanut butter and jelly one?
It looks like brown and purple.
It looks like peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Really?
Now, I've seen some, when you look at a fish, the underbelly side's light and top side's dark. And I've heard that that's due to predation. That nature builds them that way. So from the top, looking down, a fish is going to look dark on a dark surface on the floor. And looking up with the sky or the sun, he looks light. And wouldn't you want a bait that would be just the opposite of that? Be dark on the bottom so the fish looking up, he can see it against the sky?
The start of our trip up, I was throwing Z-Man baits, which we got a clip of you.
Because you're a Z-Man.
Z-Man.
That's what they told me. I was Z-Man.
You Z-Man?
So I use Z-Man baits.
You use Z-Man. I get it.
And the color I was throwing that I caught most of my fish on that first really awesome day we had, it was called the Deal. And the top of it was like a green pumpkin goby colored, not as light as the baby bass, but it had a white pearl.
Okay.
And I was catching some fish on that.
Okay.
But later on, when we were up there, it didn't quite work. I had to go, but it changes every day.
All right. So pay attention to color of the water.
Pay attention to, and a lot has to do with presentation.
Yeah.
How you present the bait to the fish you're after, because it's different for if you're doing pike, if you're doing walleye. But since we were after bass, we were using Zincos.
Well, I use Z-Man.
Well, yes,
for a little while.
And Wacky or Ned was Ned's
the Ned rig.
Ned rig.
There's actually a really cool story on how they invented them. Not a guy named Ness, the Cinco. Gary Yamamoto invented them. You see his baits there, and he was talking with his Bill Dancer rolling, and he's bored and poured a big pin. He said, that bait will never sell. He's like, don't even try to market that. Selling bait there is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oops. Oops.
Wow. There's a more in-depth story.
Right.
But okay, so those are some of the stories that are really cool. That's never going to work. Yeah, well, guess what? It's working. Wow.
Everything worked for us this week.
Yeah, it did. That's why we're able to talk about it. So,
all right. Well, I'll tell you what. That explains colors, water clarity, and all that kind of good stuff. What you're going to need to get out on the water. We've got other mini-casts coming up this week that are going to have other things related to fishing. So
yep, absolutely.
So stay tuned.
This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Badass Slingshots,
and Mossy Oak.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.